Welcome to day one of AI-powered mapping for the ArcGIS Web Developer. Today we're setting up a simple web app with the ArcGIS Maps SDK for JavaScript and integrating AI to generate facts about clicked locations using OpenAI. So let's get started. We'll start by creating three files: index.html, styles.css, and scripts.js. In the HTML file, we'll start with the basic structure using our VS Code shortcut. Next, we'll include the ArcGIS Maps SDK CSS for the styling the map, and the JavaScript library for ArcGIS functionality. We'll also link our local styles.css file for additional styling, and reference the scripts.js, where all of our map logic is going to go. And finally, we'll create a div, and this is really where the map placeholder will be. It does need to have a unique ID, and I'm going to go ahead and just make that map. Now, onto the CSS. In styles.css, we're going to make sure that the HTML body and map are set to take up the full entire view of the page with no predetermined margins or padding. And now onto the JavaScript. So first we're going to load some ArcGIS modules using require. The Esri config module is where we will set our ArcGIS API key. And this allows us to access base maps and other ArcGIS services. We'll also define our OpenAI API key here. Next, we're going to create a map view to display our map. The container property links the map to the div with the ID map in our HTML file. We'll specify the base map style, and I'm going to go ahead and use ArcGIS community here. We'll set the initial longitude and latitude of your choosing, which I'm going to go with Washington, D.C. And I'll set the zoom level to a value between 1 and about 20. I'm going to go ahead and use 13. Next, we're going to make the map interactive by adding a click event. And this will allow us to get the coordinates of the clicked location and use OpenAI to generate a fact. So next, we are going to use the map point parameter, and this gives us the exact geographic location of the click, including its longitude and latitude. Now, next we're going to create a prompt string that we'll send to OpenAI. The map.longitude and map.latitude values are dynamically inserted into the prompt. And this tells OpenAI exactly which location we want a fact about. Next. Okay, now here is where our magic happens. We will send a request to the OpenAI API with fetch. The URL specifies the OpenAI endpoint that we're using. And in the headers, we do need to include our authorization with our OpenAI API key to authenticate the request. The body will contain the request payload, where we define the model GPT-4 and the messages array. The content is the prompt we just created. The API returns a JSON object. And finally, we're going to use view.popup.open to display the AI-generated fact in a pop-up. The location is set to the map point where the user clicked. The title is a static string. In this case, I'm just going to say AI-generated fact. And the content is the AI's response, which we extracted earlier. Now let's go ahead and see this in action. And here's the result. When you click on the map, the OpenAI API generates a fact about that location and displays it in a pop-up. It really is that simple. And that's it for day one. In just a few steps, we combined the power of ArcGIS and AI to create an engaging and interactive map. Be sure to come back tomorrow for another video with more exciting ways to enhance your mapping skills with AI. Thanks for joining me, and happy coding!